So a week ago the Game Awards took place, which is the biggest gaming event of the year, and at this event a bunch of new games were revealed. Most of them were ish, but there was one that really grabbed my attention, not only because of how unbelievably bad it was, but because it was made by one of my favorite studios, Naughty Dog, who also made The Last of Us and Uncharted. So to see them waste years of development and millions of dollars on something that the vast majority of the target audience doesn't want to play is really heartbreaking, because to me it seems that these studios will never learn, regardless of how many games flop, regardless of how many layoffs happen and how many studios shut down. They'll keep pushing this agenda regardless if they make money or not, because money is not what matters to them the most, it's the pushing of a certain narrative. And I truly believe that we'll keep seeing studios shut down because these games are not being made by the people who love games and who are a part of the community, and the result is what we're seeing right now. Countless copy-pasted games filled with political propaganda like Dragon Age, Concord, Suicide Squad, Dustborn, I could go on, but this is not going to change when we still have so many people giving money to these studios regardless and saying, give it a chance, it's only a trailer, maybe it'll be really good. My question to those people is, how many games have to flop for you to stop trusting these companies? Like, what does it take for you to start thinking critically and not just blow your money on the next shiny new game that's put in front of your face? And another thing that I noticed with these studios who are making games for the non-existent modern audience, they love to brag about their previous successful games like those same developers worked on this garbage. In the trailer for Intergalactic, you can see them proudly brag about how this game was made by the studio behind The Last of Us and Uncharted, as if those same developers worked on this steaming pile of shit. I genuinely want to know who in their right mind was in the boardroom with the executives and said, you know what will really sell this game? A bald, muscular woman of color with a really annoying attitude. Like, really? That was the pitch that got millions of dollars invested into the development of this game? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a bald, muscular woman of color is really what gamers want right now, and I'll be proven wrong when Intergalactic sells tens of millions of copies. Oh, wait, no, I won't, because just taking a look at the like to dislike ratio on literally all of the trailers for Intergalactic shows once again that nobody wants this garbage. They even had to turn off the comment section because they knew exactly what the reaction was going to be. First, let's talk about the thing that inspired me to make this video to begin with, and that's the Game Awards. The annual slop show that is just a circle jerk event where game studios receive meaningless awards and the winners are picked by 100 different gaming media outlets, which makes fan voting irrelevant, so I don't know why they do it every year. And that results in really unexpected and undeserving winners of these awards, like Astrobot winning Game of the Year over Black Myth Wukong and Elden Ring. I don't want to get too deep into why I don't like Astrobot, but the short version is, it's a kid's game that capitalizes on older PlayStation IPs and lazy nostalgia bait. Not to say it's a bad game, but it didn't even deserve the nomination for Game of the Year in my opinion, let alone winning it, but that's besides the point. My biggest issue with the Game Awards is how 80% of the show is just filler content consisting of nothing but random game reveal trailers for games that nobody cares about, and between these trailers they're often showing random political and social commentary like how trans people are now represented in gaming or something. I will give them credit, because this year they actually managed to cut down on the amount of social commentary garbage they included compared to previous years where we had men in drag dancing on stage, and they also moved their woke award categories to their pre-show and not the actual award ceremony, which is a plus and makes the show a bit more watchable, but that's about it. The main reason I was more excited about this year's Game Awards is because of the leak saying there will be 2 huge game announcements, and of course most of us thought that one of those was going to be the second trailer for GTA 6, which didn't happen. In reality, all we got was Naughty Dog's new slop, Intergalactic, and The Witcher 4, which destroyed decades of established lore just to shoehorn in a female Witcher for that sweet ESG money. I already know that I'll have the Witcher fans in my comments crying about how Ciri was always going to be the main character and a Witcher in the 4th game, because they'll come up with every excuse to bootleg their favorite game regardless of the shit they are fed by CD Projekt Red. And look, I'm not claiming to be a Witcher expert, I'm far from a super fan of the series. I played a bit of the 2nd game and almost finished the 3rd one, but I don't really have any interest in the franchise outside of that. So if Ciri becoming a Witcher somehow makes sense to you, I don't really care. But from the research I've done into the Witcher lore, because I was arguing about this on Twitter when the trailer first dropped, women can become Witchers because their body can't survive the process of becoming one. So the only reason I see why CD Projekt Red decided to make Ciri the main character in The Witcher 4 is to have a girl boss feminist main character to push agendas and to get funding, because this studio had just gone downhill in the last few years and has become infested with woke ideologues who inject political propaganda into their games. A great example of this are a few articles that came out about The Witcher 4 saying that with a female main character, the franchise can finally tackle the themes of inequality and sexism, or how CD Projekt Red has started offering internships to certain marginalized groups like the LGBT community and women of color, while specifically excluding straight white men. Which is really racist and sexist, but according to them that's totally fine, and obviously that's going to be featured in their new games. Now, that's not to say that the game will automatically be bad or sell poorly because the main character is a woman, not at all. Because the main gaming demographic are still average people who are not really involved in this online political discourse surrounding these games, and they simply don't care. And that's exactly who these studios are targeting. The average person who just wants to relax after a long day of work and will spend their hard-earned money on their new games simply because of the recognizable established title like The Witcher, and the studios keep making money this way. For example, the same way that NBA 2K keeps getting worse with every new installment and keeps getting worse reviews year after year, the franchises are still able to make money and stay afloat because there are still so many people who mindlessly consume every new game that is released without thinking critically. They just want the brand new shiny game regardless of the quality. But the serious problem with this is that the people who are not involved or don't care about the political discourse in gaming will slowly get used to everything these companies are pushing and become more and more tolerant to it until it becomes completely normal to have every new game filled with political propaganda. This is very visible in the comment sections of these controversial games. While yes, there are thousands of comments critiquing the game, there are still a bunch of comments urging people to give it a chance and not to write it off just yet, because this is only a trailer. It's not that deep. It's just a video game. I'm really not trying to come at this from a place of negativity or hate, because deep down I just want to play good games again, like I'm sure many others do as well, but I just can't help but feel this weird feeling of betrayal each time a really good game studio destroys their reputation just to push a narrative. Because at the end of the day, those of us who have been playing their games for decades are the reason they still exist and make money. We're their audience and their customers, but it seems like we're not important to them anymore, and they would rather cater to a really niche minority of the gaming community that won't play their games in the first place. So me making these seemingly negative videos about these games is not coming from a bad place, but rather from a place of concern, because in the last few years we've seen so many big game studios have massive layoffs and shut down after repeating this exact mistake time and time again, and unfortunately other studios never take notes and learn from their failures. In reality, I just don't want to see Naughty Dog and CD Projekt Red shut down 5 years from now, because they still have time to course correct and get their company on the right path. And with that being said, thanks for watching this video. I know I've been away for such a long time, and I recently felt the need to upload something again, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you when I decide to post again.